just curious from a retail point of view, the big problems that we've hit on there are antisocial behaviour, discrimination, wrongful arrest, all of that. And one of the earlier speakers spoke about having staff members of 63 different nationalities. How do you deal with the cultural differences, let's say, as to how things are dealt with in other countries compared to here when you're trying to address that problem? I know, for example, that in certain countries, if you're caught robbing, the police in a different country will deal with that in a different way. You get staff from other countries who feel that they value the job that they're after getting from their employer, and they will protect it at all costs, to the point of even going after the individual, exposing themselves to the customers' injury. So how do you deal with those, and ethnic groups, how to deal with sort of issues like that? How do you overcome those difficulties in the training of staff?
I suppose the first thing is their personal safety is paramount, and that is always the number one thing for them. You go through your training with them. There's as I call it, the textbook training, and then there's the everyday life training. And the everyday life training is dealing with those sort of people that you're talking about. And they are everywhere, and they are the biggest cause of a lot of the antisocial behaviour in stores. And I always say, if they're in shouting, they're shouting for a reason. So straight away, if you need to start looking around the store because they're trying to distract you from something else that's going on. And that's why, but the people from different nationalities, they soon pretty pick up how things run. They haven't not long here before they kind of see it. And it's your training and your parameters around what they can or can't do, and make it very clear that you will support them at all costs. But their safety is paramount. The safety of their colleagues is paramount. And at the end of the day, if no one's safety is worth whatever they're taking on the day, you just have to recuperate a different way or go on and make the call to look Gardaí. But the piece we always do, we do make that call to Gardaí. We do put the footage out to the guards, and we do get them down to get a case opened. And like I said, the example I gave yesterday, that particular individual was from the locality. So we found out exactly where he lived. So all the stuff was given. Yesterday, the guards had all the information, and they were going to that person's house yesterday to challenge them on it and to take the next step forward. We have to go the next step because we are trying to, in that particular store, we're trying to stamp out the culture of just walking in, taking what you want, and walking back out again. And we're without putting in full-time security and closing the shop off to the normal everyday customer.
So I knew you couldn't ask a question about any defamation, so thanks for that, Joe. But from our point of view, it's probably slightly easier because we've over 1,000 employees that are security officers, and we do have cleaners as well. From a security point of view, the guys are licensed, so there's a standard there in terms of the expectation and the requirements. Now, the caveat to that is we do have some training bodies still in the company, and I spoke to Vincent about this morning, and they're less than ethical when it comes to some of the training that takes place. So the onus is on me and us as a company to make sure that the training that they receive is the correct and appropriate training for the site that they go to. So whether that's retail or construction or corporate, they have to understand the jurisdiction they operate in, the expectations and the law. So we do have the licensing for it, but again, as a business, it's up to RSC and for me to make sure that they receive the additional training to make sure that we mitigate any potential disasters that could take place.